However, talking about another star tonight, on the other side of the court, the other bench, right? Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown tonight, 25 points, made 9 shots. Jaylen Brown at the end of the game did not receive the ball the last 2 possessions when the Celtics own a chance to win the game. I mean, the score you see at the bottom of the screen, the Celtics own 2 more possessions at the end of the game to win this thing. Peyton Pritchard took both shots. Brown did not. However, tonight, Jaylen Brown looked certainly solid at times. Wasn't his best performance in the world, but what do we think about Jaylen Brown's first returns as the Celtics' primary guy in a real regular season game?
I think he looked good. I think he was playing some pretty highly efficient basketball. He was shooting 50% from the field. He wasn't settling for threes, and he was looking to attack the basket. I'm all for anybody who's looking to attack the basket rather than settling for jump shots. Jaylen Brown was pure in the mid-range tonight. I don't know how he found so many wide open shots in the mid-range, but he did, and he took advantage of it. He also was a solid playmaker tonight, only with 4 assists, but he was dishing the ball out. Like I said, he was facilitating well in that third quarter, which is a huge reason why the Celtics got back into this game and ended up extending their lead in that third quarter, making plays. And he kind of came out early doing a little bit of everything. I mean, he had 4 or 5 rebounds right off the bat, along with those 3 assists, 3 of his first 4 assists. So, Jaylen Brown came in and did what he was supposed to do. Now, when you talk about the final shot, I think I'm just gonna out myself. I said I didn't want the ball in Jaylen Brown's hands for the final shot in the group chat. I said it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a man of my word. Why did I say that? I just when it comes down to that situation. Man, how do I put this?
You're not the only one, though, I will say.
Okay, you're not the only one. I understand that. And look, it's just like I'm here in my office as somebody who will never be able to play at the level that they will play at. So what does my opinion matter? But at the same time, like I'm just like my train of thought is like, ooh, Jaylen Brown's handles in a up tempo, fast environment usually doesn't result in anything but really a turnover or maybe a block shot. So yeah, I didn't feel like this was a Jaylen Brown game-winning situation. To be quite honest with you, I was comfortable with Peyton Pritchard taking that shot. I didn't love the kind of when he got in trouble, he kind of just hucked it towards the rim instead of looking to kick it out. And then I didn't mind that second baseline shot. If anything, I didn't mind that last shot. I didn't mind that. And it was kind of more that first shot where the ball hit the bottom of the rim. But I think that's something that we're going to have to figure out, boys, because we're used to the Jason Tatum aspect of this. We're going to be in these tight games, guys. We're going to put a fight. Like we're going to have effort all season long. It's not like we're going to go out there, and I'm sure we'll have a few stinkers, but we're not going to go out there every night, no matter what people think of this team. We're not going to just get blown out on a nightly basis. That's just not what the Celtics are going to do. They're not going to let that happen. So we are going to find ourselves in a lot of games where we do need to come up with ways to win the ball game at the end. We are going to have those opportunities. And tonight we saw that without Jason Tatum. We saw it right off the bat. I was kind of thinking to myself in the preseason when, especially during those 2 Toronto games when it got tight down the stretch, say, boy, usually we're used to Tatum in these situations. We know the ball is going into Tatum's hands, whether it's a step back or whether it's a drive or a sidestep 3. Like we know Jason Tatum is the man. Now we're kind of sitting here and saying, well, are we going to go Jaylen Brown? We're going to go Peyton. Are we going to go Anthony Simons here? Are we going to go Anthony in the backcourt? Are we going to go Sam Hauser on a back cut in an off-ball screen? So there's different ways that the Celtics could have gone. They went with Pritchard. I don't know if it was designed for Pritchard or if the ball just ended up in Pritchard's hands and Pritchard just tried to make something happen. But in terms of Jaylen Brown's performance tonight, people wanted him to take those last 2 shots. I loved his performance overall. I think he was aggressive. I think defensively he looked sharp. I didn't see any We talk about Embiid and he looked stiff tonight with his knee. I didn't really see any lingering issues with Jaylen Brown tonight in that hamstring. Nothing really stuck out to me in terms of any limping or any favoring of the specific leg. But I think he looked good. I think he looked healthy, and I think he looked ready to go. And he looked like he wanted to win this game really bad tonight.
Well, I have to say, Justin, first, I don't doubt at all that the Boston Celtics are going to be competitive this year. I feel like we're going to be a little more frustrated this year because we're going to be playing 500 ball majority of the year. And I have to say that could be the case. That could not be the case. Who knows? But likely the case.
Well, it's either going to be the case or not.
Well, I'm just saying we're either going to play over 500 or we're not. But this is the thing.
Or actually, we could go 41-41.
Yeah, we could play.
Ask the
500.
Atlanta Hawks about that. There was.
They do it every
I
year.
want to say there was this ridiculous 200 game stretch where the Hawks were just 500. It
was last year.
Yeah, it was
That's
just
so funny.
It was like every stage of the last was like 25, 50. It was like every stage they were 20. They were 500. They were 500. So Griffin, I'm not quite.
It's the Atlanta Hawks.
This is my thought, though. We're going to be competitive. And I have to say, shout out to Josh Griffith because he does not have to get the buzz cut, Seamus. And Andrew, were you on there? If you guys
I was, yeah.
Remember, Jaylen Brown was supposed to drop 40. He didn't drop 40, so no buzz cut for Josh Griffith.
Okay. Oh, I remember that. I remember
Damn,
that.
that's a shame.
Okay, so I wish we remembered that. Griffin, you remember that before the game, but I wish we remembered that. I
Yeah, that
totally
would have been
forgot
a
about it
good
because then we would have been
clip.
tracking it, right? We would have been tracking it. You were tracking it though, so.
I was
Worth a
on
mention.
top of it. But yeah, go check out episode 69, Celtics Nation Rise. Go check that out, and you'll hear all about it if you guys don't know about it. But I thought overall a very productive night from Jaylen Brown. I mean, it's gonna take a while, and I don't even think he will become the number one guy. Like on this team, I do not see him being exactly the number one option. I see Derek White having nights that he could perform and be the number one guy. I see a lot of guys that could really mix match in there and be the highest scoring person. I don't think it's just going to be Jaylen Brown. I think that's where his ceiling is this season, but I don't know if that will necessarily be the fact of the I can't even say it, the fact of the matter or whatever, however you say it. But ultimately, I look at it this way, and I think that Jaylen Brown had a very productive night, and I don't think we're ever going to get the version of Jaylen Brown that he's taking the last shots. I look at this, and I don't think we will see a certain player taking the last shot in a game until Jason Tatum comes back. I just don't see that happening. And ultimately, though, I thought he did great. I love how he was attacking the basket, and I love how aggressive he is. And I love that Jaylen Brown, even though he was in pain the other night, he went out there and still looked like he was fine. And this is a guy who's going to get his 100 on every single night. And I really have been referencing starting five a lot because, and I have to disagree because they didn't show Jaylen Brown a lot, which frustrated me. So Netflix, you need to show the Celtics players more in there, just saying. But anyways, from what I saw from him, though, he works hard. This is a player who loves to work hard and is aggressive. And he was aggressive and worked hard tonight. You know, it's not the outcome that we wanted to see. And he could have, I wish he took at least one of the last shots because there were a couple, in the clutch there. But ultimately, it sucks. But the Boston Celtics are going to be fine. They're going to be competitive. This is not a team to hang your head on because you're going to look forward, and there's going to be nights where we're looking at this and we're going to say, oh, it was a close game, should have had it. But there's also going to be nights that I believe that we're going to be celebrating because it's going to be a big Boston win. I just see that on the horizon, and I think Jaylen Brown is going to be one of the key contributors behind that.
And Andrew, what are your thoughts on Brown's performance tonight?
I think it was like ultra efficient. I mean, I think that he looked really fluid in his movements. I think his dribbling, to be honest, looked better than preseason. Like maybe it looked like he shook a little rust off in that area. But I really do think that like he was getting to his spots and really playing like high quality, efficient basketball. on the offensive end. And defensively, there's really never a question like of his effort and of his intensity and his ability to defend. Like I think he typically plays very well on that end. In my eyes, I think Jaylen Brown gets that ball when it comes down to it. Like I think he was being denied, but you got to get your best player the ball, no matter the cost. I understand that maybe there's not as much faith. Maybe we're relying on Tatum, but right now Brown's our guy. He's our best player. He's the guy we're relying on, and he's the guy you got to put faith in. And I think you either die by Jaylen Brown missing a shot and not performing, or you thrive on Jaylen Brown hitting a shot and winning you the game. That's my opinion. He's our leader. He's the Celtics leader. He's the guy that is taking charge, and so you give him that ball because one, it's out of respect, and two, we're putting faith in him to perform throughout the entirety of the game. So why aren't we putting faith in him in the late game? And so that's my viewpoint.
Well, for me, I gotta say, all the notion that the internet is going to spread out and say, and even Scal was saying on the post game, so it's not just the internet. We're gonna say here too, the ball needs to hit Jaylen Brown's hands. That's not the take I'm giving out though. That's the take of the internet, right? That's the take of everybody.
I understand.
But I'll add some nuance to this. Didn't quite see the well, I haven't seen a replay yet. I was like, wait, I should just go look one up as I'm thinking
Probably
about
get
this,
denied
right?
too.
Right. But haven't seen a replay of this, but sometimes the player who's supposed to receive the ball doesn't receive the ball, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes that goes awry. A defense might put two on a play. I mean, we saw it last year against the Houston Rockets when, I mean, this wasn't quite the same type of play, but when two guys take the same guy, and then all of a sudden Alperen Şengün is wide open down the lane, right? I mean, that can ultimately happen. The Celtics didn't see that on the last possession when it comes to Jaylen Brown or Peyton Pritchard, with one of them owning the ball, holding the ball in their hands. But at the end, to me, I'm not upset with Pritchard taking both of those shots, really, because the second shot, we have to think too. The first shot was after a timeout. Okay, so that one was more drawn up, more planned. But the second one was 1 second, it's out of bounds. The Celtics, no timeouts left. You have to run a play, just go, right? And that second one, it's whatever you can really get. And it's really what do you have ready on the fly, right? That was kind of a test of what do the Celtics actually have ready on the fly. But I'm not too upset about Pritchard taking both of those shots there, because Peyton Pritchard, we know, is a tough shot maker, and he really, in my mind, is going to have to be right alongside Jaylen Brown and taking those tough shots down the stretches of games alongside Anthony Simons as well. I think Simons, Brown, and Pritchard, all three of those guys are tough shot makers, can make shots at the end of games. And I don't really have any grift against either of them touching the ball. I mean, say it was Simons or Pritchard over Brown.